Hi everybody, Wendy from Cinnamon Sweet Shop. Today I'm going to be making challah bread. Now this recipe gives you 2 average size challah breads. It's going to take an all-day event because there's a lot of rising involved in this. But if you're stuck at home, especially with the kids, it's a good activity to do to keep them busy. What you'll need is flour. I'm using a whole wheat pastry flour. You can use an all-purpose flour. A little difficult to get, but if you go to the markets at the right time, you can look for it. Maybe they'll have it in stock. Same thing with eggs, but I am using 3 egg yolks and then 1 full egg. You will need some lukewarm water. When I say lukewarm, it's going to be about 110 degrees. We're going to divide this up. This recipe does call for honey. It's a honey challah, so I have some honey. Here I'm using some salt, some sugar, of course yeast. We're using just 1 package of yeast, and then I have a little bit of oil. All of the measurements are at my website, which I do have linked below, cinnamonsweetshop.com. I have 1/4 cup of that lukewarm water. Just pour it into a large bowl. I'm going to add in that package of yeast. And that sugar. Just give it a nice good mixing and then let it sit for 10 minutes so it can get nice and foamy. So now we're going to add in the remainder of the water, which is about 1 1/4 cups, lukewarm. Add in that salt, both eggs, the oil, and the honey. With a whisk, just give it a nice good whisk mixing. Whisk it all together. So now I'm going to add in the flour, and I'm going to take large scoops, about 1/2 cup each. So dump that in, give it a good mixing. I'm using 4 1/2 to 6 cups of flour. Once your dough is too thick to stir with a spoon, then we're going to knead the rest of the flour in by hand. You're going to need a lot of flour to do this because it will be sticky. Flour up your hands as well. And I'm going to knead it until this dough is nice and pliable. Just keep adding the flour as you go along. You'll know when it's right. So I took a bowl and I sprayed all around with some canola oil spray. And I put the dough in there. Now, I want this to get nice and greased around. So I'm going to swish this around to the grease side. See that? And then just give it a nice little spray again. Or you could spray your hands and then flip that around. You just don't want this to be real sticky. So I have my towel, a nice clean kitchen towel. I'm going to place this on top. You want to keep this in a very warm spot. So I usually put this in my oven, not turning the oven on, just with the oven off. And it tends to be very successful in rising because you really want this to rise. You want to let your dough rise for about 1 hour to 1 1/2 hours till it doubles in size. Then with your fist, I'm going to punch it down just a couple times. Let that gas release from it. Then cover it up and let it rise again for about another 45 minutes to 1 hour. So it doubled in size again. So I'm going to punch it down a little bit. Then just roll it out onto a floured surface. I'm going to add a little bit more flour because as you can see, it's still a little sticky. And I'm just going to knead it a couple minutes. So just flour it up a little bit and just hand knead it for a few minutes. So with this dough, you can either make some challah rolls, you can make 2 loaves out of it or 1 large loaf. I think I'm going to do 1 large loaf, and we're going to do a 3-strand braid. I cut my dough up 3 even pieces. Just going to put 2 away for a moment. So I'm going to use a lot of flour on my surface and flour up the rolling pin as well. And we're going to roll this out till it's about 1/4 inch in thinness. And we're going to take the top and just roll this into a strand. Now keep rolling this until the seam disappears. So you want to kind of play around with the dough a bit. Try to make it an even strand. Now go ahead and do this with the other 2 pieces of dough. So now everything is going to come in from on top of the center. And what I decided to do is make 2 smaller loaves instead of the 1 large one. So I just cut my strands in half. So I'm just kind of fixing them up a little bit. But to do the braiding, if you've never braided hair before, it's really not that difficult. Everything's going to go into the center. So I'm going to take this 1 piece, keep it together, and then just bring this toward the center. And then take this piece and keep it close together and bring this toward the center. And we're going to tighten this up as we go along, because you want nice tighter braiding there. So now this is going to go over the center, and then this, and then this, and then this, until you get to the end, and then you kind of tuck it together. So you see how this is kind of not real even? It's kind of looser. I'm just going to go ahead and just fix this up a bit. Just tuck this under, and there you go. You got 1 loaf. To make that nice golden brown top, I have an egg and I mix it with 1 tablespoon of cold water. I'm just whisking it together. And we're going to lightly brush over the roll or the loaf with this egg wash, but don't get rid of this. We're going to knead it some more. Then we're going to let this rise another 45 minutes. So these loaves are going to get baked for a total of 40 minutes at 350 degrees. But after 20 minutes, after the first 20 minutes, you can take them out and then just re-wash them with the egg wash and then put them back in for the other 20 minutes. Now, I forgot to mention, if you did want to put some toppings on it, like seeded toppings, you can do that as soon as you put the first egg wash coating on there as well. I got 2 really nice sized loaves out of this. It's a lot of fun to make. It's really, really good, easy to do, and the recipe's at my website linked below, cinnamonsweetshoppe.com. Come back for more videos coming up. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you all in my next video.